Welcome back to Jager Racing. Today I'm going to introduce you to my new, to me, 2015 Ford Mustang. So the big question everyone's asking is, what made me go to a Ford Mustang? From a 2006 race car Subaru, to which I have decided to part with, other video coming. Basically, I decided I wanted a car that basically had what all of you said to do to the Subaru all the time, and that's basically put a V8 in it. One of the biggest things that people told me was, oh, be more reliable, put an LS in it. Well, it's not an LS, but the 5-liter Coyote motor has definitely proved its worth so far in the aftermarket industry. So I decided on a 2015 5.0 Ford Mustang for a couple reasons. First, it's a V8. I was looking for a V8 car that could take some abuse of going to the track and also drive it on the street. I wanted a car that already had enough power to make you happy, get a little smile on your face, and at the same time wasn't gonna crap its guts out all across the road every time you drove it. Second reason, I was looking for a car that was pretty comfortable to drive on the street, as well as a car that I could technically, big technically here, technically fit 4 people. Hey, as a family man, I have my 4-year-old son, and guess what? He fits tidily in the back seat pretty easily. Third reason kind of circles back to the first. I've never owned a V8 car as an in general vehicle, so why not? I mean, I've owned Hondas. I've done turbo Hondas. I did Subarus and built Subarus up as much as possible. And then I've been doing the Miata and doing all the Miata things to it, which still plenty more pending. So it seemed natural to kind of go on to the evolutionary path of let's take all these 4 cylinders, bolt them together and make a V8. So I guess the third reason is really to try something new. And I'll be honest, a little bit newer. Not a lot, just a little bit, just like 9 years newer. No big deal. And probably the fourth reason is to be able to have more technology in the car in terms of the base package stuff, and be able to track a car with air conditioning and so on and so forth. Obviously, all of you know the 5.0 and the Mustang, it definitely, like every car out there, it doesn't have everything. And it definitely is not a perfect track car from the moment you buy it. Obviously, many of you will say, well, why didn't you go buy a 350 if you're just going to track it and so on and so forth? And part of the reason is cost. Not to mention the simple fact that a 350, I always look at a 350 or a 500 and look at it as you get like what we call the GTR tax, which basically means if you can afford a 350 or a 500 or a GTR, you can afford things that are exponentially more expensive right from the get-go. Things like brakes are going to be more expensive, things like performance parts. Let's just say you blow the engine on a 350. I don't know, I haven't looked yet, but I'm going to assume if I blew the engine on a 350, it's going to be exponentially more expensive than if I blew an engine on a 5-liter Mustang GT, of which I think the number that Ford made of them is a bajillion. Yeah, I think that's the number. I think it's bajillion. So again, it kind of goes back into the concept of just being able to have a car that has readily available aftermarket parts and support, which this car definitely has, and it gives me an opportunity to go to the track, have some fun, as well as if I feel like driving it to work on a Friday, I can do that. If I feel like driving up the coast for fun, I can do that. or I can just take it to the track and flog it around, or I can go to a car meet and, get involved with a crowd. Whatever I feel like doing. There's a lot of opportunities with the Mustang here. The community as a whole, so far, has been, pretty inviting, a lot of people talking. Obviously, there's a pretty ingrained and entrenched fabric of drag racing, which I come originally from drag racing, which is fun, a little bit. Now, road racing has definitely turned into something that I find way more entertaining. So we'll go with that. But as a whole, the community is very welcoming. They're basically trying to tell you to supercharge it or turbocharge it every other second. But I definitely plan to keep the car NA. The road course likes NA cars to stay NA. That way that we can actually turn more than 2 laps. The famous line of Jager Racing is 6 laps at a time, and that's the goal. You got to be able to do 6 laps. You need to be able to do those 6 laps before it overheats, blows up, or something else. I don't even know what that something else is, but whatever. As a whole, though, I'll let you bask in the glory of my new 2015 5.0 V8 Mustang. Thank you. And you'll be seeing a lot more of it with a bunch of different mods and probably more suspension stuff than anything. Stay tuned.